What's up, everybody? It's your favorite theory crafter, Skizzors here, bringing you a brand new Nexus by the Numbers presented by StormLegacy.com. Today we're going to be going over Stukov, the brand new melee support hero added to the game. And I just want to say briefly, guys, if I sound a little bit weird, I kind of started losing my voice a little bit earlier today. But we're going to try to get through this guide. I'm going to try to put as much info as I can in a nice compact amount of time for you guys. So let's get this thing kicked off. So first we're going to be going over his Q. It's Healing Pathogen, mana cost 30, cooldown 10 seconds. Infest an allied hero with a Healing Pathogen that heals the target for X health over 4.5 seconds. Healing Pathogen can spread to a nearby allied hero every 0.75 seconds, and a single Healing Pathogen can spread to each allied hero one time. So using the training dummy, I'm going to be showing you how this works. This is your range. It's not too big. Not too long of a range, but it's good enough for where you can position yourself properly with Stukov to not be in a bad situation, but be able to get your heal off. So we're gonna just use the healing training dummy here to kind of show you, while you cast it on an allied hero, how it spreads, and then I will also show you the self-cast, which is the same thing. So you can see the healing pathogen jump over, start healing him, then jump back to me, and you can self-cast that by hitting Alt Q, which will self-heal you, and then it'll bounce over to whatever allied heroes are within this range. Alright, so Stukov's W is Weighted Pustule, mana cost is 50, cooldown is 10 seconds, hurl a pustule that impacts all enemy heroes in its path, dealing X damage and slowing by 5%, increasing to 50% over 3 seconds, dealing an additional X larger number of damage upon expiring or being removed. So it's a line target shot. Let's turn on the toggle cooldowns real quick so I can just show you what it looks like just to throw it. It's this purple little gross deal. And when you hit an enemy, it gives them a little minus sign, and you can see that kind of charging up there. So if the colors weren't enough to see the difference, pluses are the heals and they're green, minus is purple, and it's the negative effect on enemy heroes. Next is Stukov's E, Lurking Arm, mana cost 60, cooldown 8 seconds. Channel at a target location, creating an area that silences enemies inside and deals X damage per second to them. Deals 50% reduced damage to non-heroes. Does not cost mana while channeling, and lasts until until it's cancelled or interrupted. So this is your AoE of it. You can see it being targeted. It's got a pretty long range by default. I'll drop it on our training dummy here so you can kind of see how that works, but you have your channel time, and then once it's dropped you start taking away lots of damage in multiple instances very quickly, and heroes can walk in and out of that, and they are silenced for the entire duration of being inside of this. And then at any given point you can just hit E, and that cancels it, or if you got stunned or whatever. So your trait is the bread and butter ability of Stukov, and that is Bio Kill Switch. Cooldown is 16 seconds. Activate to detonate all of Stukov's viruses. Each healing pathogen heals its target for X damage. Just know it's a big burst heal. And each weighted pustule does X damage. No, it's just more damage than you can get off your W initially. And slows its target by 70% for 2 seconds instead of being at a max of 50%. Can be cast while channeling Lurking Arm. So, I'm gonna just take some damage real quick and kind of show you the burst heal effects. Alright, so a regular dot heal on Stukov doesn't heal for too much, but does heal a decent chunk over the 4.5 second time. Now remember, this is at level 20, so this will vary per level, but this gives you a good indicator of kind of how it looks. So that's how much health, excuse me, that you're gonna get over time, which is a good chunk, but not too much. Now if you were to pop Bio Kill Switch instead, you can see it is a vastly bigger number, or amount of health. So kind of how you would want to do this in combination, if you can, as far as your heals go, is you pop your heal, and then when it gets close to the end, you pop your trait, and then you'll get a maximum amount of healing possible from it. I popped it a little early there just to show you, but you can get pretty close to that being completely full. Just be careful though, because sometimes there's some input delay from server lag and stuff of that nature. So if you get too close and you're trying to hit it frame perfect, and your ping isn't super good, meaning like 20 or under, you might not get your bio kill switch off. So The best way to kind of time it is I do to right about this little line right there. I'll go a little bit over that, kind of right in front of this last little like wave looking thing, just right where my cursor is there. Now as far as weighted pustule goes, just throwing it out and then popping it for the slow. I try to just wait till the end just to get more damage, but it's not necessarily always what you're going to be doing. Once we get into the talent section, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Alright, that covers the basics of Stukov. Now we're going to be going over his talents, and I'm really only going to be focusing on two particular builds that I have found to be the most useful over this last week that he's been out. And I'm going to be focusing on the very optimal high skill cap build for him, and I will be kind of touching on basically the standard build right now is the silence oriented build where you're focusing a lot on your E. So I'll kind of touch on that a little bit, but I'll be mainly focusing on the really optimal gameplay for him. So the talent you're going to be grabbing at level 1 is Fetid Touch. Quest hit heroes with weighted pustule. Reward after hitting 20 heroes. Reduce the cooldown of weighted pustule by 2.5 seconds. After hitting 40 heroes, reduce the cooldown of weighted pustule by an additional 2.5 seconds and remove its mana cost. So the second reward is kind of what you're obviously going for. The reduced mana cost is going to give you a lot larger of a mana pool, obviously, because now an ability doesn't cost any mana, but it does just allow you to keep heals up constantly a lot easier. And secondly, the cooldown is very important, and we're going to be explaining why. There's a large combo piece with Stukov that makes him very, very strong right now. So we'll go into that more, but just know that this is kind of your main go-to if you're going to be going for the optimal Stukov healing route. If you'd like to go for more of a silence-oriented build, then Growing Infestation is really good. I kind of consider silence build for Stukov to be better in a 5-stack because you aren't really that useful to your team that can't coordinate very well, because they might not know that you're going to be dropping your silences in certain positions, and optimization of chaining abilities might not go through as well if you're solo queuing using silence. The other build I just find to be better overall. I get much better results than I do with silence in 5 stacks or solo queuing, doesn't really matter. I just get better results with the other one. But like I said, I'm going to be going over the silence abilities too. So the only thing to really note here, I'll just show you the growth for Lurker's Arm. It's nothing too crazy. So this is your standard AoE. We'll kind of do a baseline marker right here, so right at the edge of the training dummy, and you can see the growth on that. So it grows pretty large. Remember that it started right there, so you're getting about that big of a growth, which is the 25%, which is pretty solid, and you can block off whole areas. You can also use this to completely block off gates and stuff if enemies are running away. You can drop this in front, and it'll grow, so they have to walk into it and they're silenced that whole time. You can also drop it a little bit further in the back if you have the range for it. You can block it any way like that. You can also use it if heroes are chasing you. So if somebody like Arthas or whoever was chasing your team, you can drop it once you get to a safe position and kind of deter the enemy team. And dropping it right in front of you means they can only auto attack you. So if it's more like stuns and stuff that you're worried about, stuns and slows, you'll avoid stuns and slows by doing something of this nature. So level 4 is pretty interesting for talents. Everything but top off I've had really good success with. So Vigorous Reuptake is, technically speaking, the best level 4 trait you can pick up, and that's Quest Detonate 50 healing pathogens with Bio Kill Switch. Reward is Bio Kill Switch's healing is increased by 50%. So you have this really massive heal already, and you get like an even bigger massive heal. This essentially turns your D trait into Rhaegar ulti, ancestral healing, but in a quote-unquote AoE. If you can spread your Q as many targets as you can heal that many basically ancestrals in the late game on a very, very short cooldown that we'll get to on the next level. So level 7 is the big combo piece ability, and that is Targeted Excision, detonating exactly 1 weighted pustule, but any number of healing pathogens with Bio Kill Switch reduces the cooldown of Bio Kill Switch to 5 seconds. Now the first time I read this, I thought it was crap because I was like, why would you ever want to just bring this down to an 11-second cooldown? That doesn't make any sense. And one of my friends pointed out to me, one game into us playing Stukov, he said, wait, this says reduce the cooldown of bio kill switch to 5 seconds, not by 5 seconds. So I think Blizzard worded this kind of poorly because all other abilities, when reduces is in there, that usually means it's a by X seconds. Instead of just saying with bio kill switch we'll put the cooldown to 5 seconds, or we'll change the cooldown to 5 seconds, you know, something that's different to kind of signify that. So some of you guys might have read over this too. I know I did initially, so I don't blame anyone for doing that. But basically this is your huge combo piece. So Stukov becomes very, very strong at level 7, where if you remember, our fetid touch at level 1 reduces the cooldown when hitting 40 heroes to 5 seconds, which reduces the cooldown of your W by 5 seconds, which makes it a 5-second cooldown. And what else is 5-second cooldown? Oh, targeted excision can make your trait a 5-second cooldown, and you only need to detonate 1 weighted pulse to make that happen. So with weighted pulse at 5 seconds and bio kill switch at 5 seconds, you can have a massive heal train happening all the time. And that's super, super strong. This is honestly what makes Stukov a very high skill cap hero, just on this ability alone. It's not super easy to execute, but if you can, and you can hit your combo over and over and over again, your team basically should never die. Unless they just have so much burst, you're so far behind that your burst heal isn't being able to keep up everybody on your team. You can basically like aerial heal, like max energy, you know, every 5 seconds, and then late game, just because of the way the damage number or the heal numbers work, excuse me, you're doing more of like a Rhaegar ancestral heal towards the late game. So targeted excision is very, very strong, and I'm going to be showing some clips on screen of different times that I'm doing this combination, just kind of show how the healing kind of stacks and works and how that cooldown works out. So yeah, targeted excision is definitely the go-to if you're going for optimal Stukov play. It is much harder to make this a consistent thing, but if you can master targeted excision as a talent, you can keep that 5-second cooldown constantly on your trait, basically keeping your whole team alive and just allowing you to secure the win for your team just based off of no one dying on your team. So like I said, targeted excision, I'm trying to sell you on this right now. Targeted excision is very, very, very strong. Now for the silence build, typically I just grab within my reach, and that increases the range of lurking arm by 50%. And I'll just kind of show you the range difference right now. It's pretty significant. The long pitch is also good, but if you're going to go for a silence build, you obviously want to buff your E more, and targeted excision is too good to pass up for any other form of Stukov. So let's see, let's just get the E to be lined up with this tree, so kind of like right there. And then if you grab the range, we went from here to here, so that's a pretty long difference. Now this could also just be good, like if your heals weren't necessarily needed, right? Maybe you're running like dual healer in your game and you have more of a dedicated healer and you want to run Stukov as a silence build, that's always cool. Also for something like Towers of Doom or Cursed Hollow or whatever, if this is the objective, if this little guy's the objective, and you grab Lurking Arm range, you can cast this, and if you have the ability at level 1. So if you grab, we'll just do that. So if you have the Lurking Arm expands at level 1, and then the Lurker Arm reach at level 7, you can drop the abilities pretty far away. So if I drop this on the, what matters about when you're dropping your E ability, and any ability for that matter that has an AoE but you have a large cast range, is just that the crosshair point in the very middle is inside the circle. So like here, if I clicked, Stukov will walk to cast it, but if I click right on the edge of the circle, he'll cast it from where he is. So if this is, you know, the Cursed Hollow objective and there's some terrain here or whatever, and you're way back here, you can drop this. That's going to grow over this point, and until somebody comes over to deal with you, you're going to be denying this point completely. So that's another good advantage in going silence build with Stukov, but I only really recommend that if you already have different healers. I think Stukov is a very, very strong solo healer. One of those things that, like, if Ariel can be a good solo healer or Rhaegar can be a good solo healer, Stukov's kind of like the best of both worlds for those heroes. So I think he's very, very strong in that scenario of just being mainly a solo healer. So next we have Stukov's ultimates, and I'm just going to say right now, I don't think Flailing Swipe is worth it. If they do bring his level 20 for it, since I'm not going to go over this later, I'm just going to kind of let you know now. Basically, the level 20 upgrade gives you the ability to gain two additional charges, so 3 charges, and each one only swings 1 time. If that was baseline at level 10 and then level 20 it did something else, maybe like every time you hit them it casts something on them, like weighted pustule or something, then I think it would be worth picking up. The knockback's okay in certain scenarios, but right now, until Massive Shove gets nerfed, and I don't mean like what it does necessarily, but the cooldown, Massive Shove's kind of your go-to. The fact that this is 80 seconds and this is 20 seconds means you can use Massive Shove 4 times. I'm going to bring that up on screen right now to kind of show you a teamfight scenario where I end up using Massive Shove just as like a very short stun duration ability to kind of keep them locked in place near us, but not being able to do anything for that very short duration, the 1 second, 1.5 seconds, whatever it was, becomes a very strong stun that's only on a 20-second cooldown that has multi-uses. So if the cooldown does get nerfed and it gets increased, to, maybe 40 seconds, then maybe Flailing Swipe might be a little bit better. But until then, Massive Shove is always going to be our pickup. Moving on, level 13, in my opinion, the best one to get is Lingering Spines, and that's Lingering Arm Persist for 1.5 seconds after it's cancelled. It's just nice in case you get stunned or interrupted, or you have to take off the channel. You just last a little longer, kind of give more area denial or silence a little bit longer. Low Blow is, in my opinion, it's super trap talent, but it is so strong if you have a team built around this ability. It's never going to be worth it. It's very troll to do this, but Lurking Arms, 150% more damage to enemy heroes below 25 health is insanely strong, and it does a lot of damage. The chances of this ever happening or being useful is so slim, there's just really not a reason to pick it up. I really like it because I mainly play assassin heroes, so I like more damage obviously, but it's a bit of a trap talent. I wouldn't recommend going it, though it is pretty fun when you can get some kills with it. So Lingering Spines is the option at 13 to go. And just to show you real quick, if you drop your E ability and you cancel it, it lasts a little bit longer for some extra silence. Alright, so at level 16 we have a few different options. All 4 of these are very good situationally. One is better than all of them in my opinion for your generalized build. There's not too much to go over here, so we'll just get to it real quickly here. So one of the situational abilities is Eye Infection, and you increase the final damage of weighted pustule by 50%, not important. Additionally, detonating a weighted pustule with bio kill switch blinds the target for 3 seconds. So if you're against a very auto attack heavy lineup and you don't have any blinds, Eye Infection could be good to pick up at 16. Typically won't see Stukovs picking this up because you'll have somebody else drafting or somebody else drafted for that blind situation, but it is an option if you are the only one with blinds available. The other situational ability is Super Strain. Whenever an ally with healing pathogen is stunned, they are instantly healed for X health. So one of the flex picks you can go is Universal Carrier, and that's healing pathogen can continually spread through Stukov, but its healing is reduced by 60%. Now, this also affects your bio kill switch. Every time I've used this, it has affected my bio kill switch. I don't really like it for those reasons. Basically, this turns your Q into a Brightwing heal, essentially, just kind of think of it that way, where if I grab this and I drop it onto a allied hero, they're going to be getting healed, and once this expires, the healing pathogen will bounce back to that hero, and it'll bounce back to me, and then you kind of have this Brightwing heal kind of thing happening all the time. It makes the heal much weaker, and I don't personally like it, but if you're new to Stukov and you're having trouble managing like this big combination piece, Universal Carrier is actually a pretty good pickup because it's one less thing for you to worry about until you feel very comfortable running through combinations, and then you'll end up getting the ability we end up getting most of the time, if not all the time, which is Pox Populi. That's Bio Kill Switch no longer removes healing pathogen and instead refreshes its duration. So, what makes this really, really strong is your entire combination to get massive big heals basically comes full circle at 16. So, the idea is you pop a heal, you pop Weighted Pustule, you hit one person, you pop your trait, so now you're only on a 5-second cooldown for your Bio Kill Switch. You're getting additional heals because you just popped a big heal, and they're able to recombo 0.5 seconds after the fact of your ability going off. So to just go over that one more time, I'm going to be dropping a heal on the healing training dummy. I'm going to shoot one Weighted Pustule so we can proc targeted excision, reducing the cooldown to 5 seconds, and then be able to keep the heal up constantly. So your combination is pretty strong of what you can be doing constantly. Being able to pop all the different abilities, and like now you have this heal that's constantly going off, and then all your abilities come right back off cooldown. You can do it again. So you're still in team fight and you're healing, you're slowing one target, and you're continually providing big heals, burst heal, big heals for dots, and just keeping that combination constantly going the whole time. Level 20, there's really not good options for him. Bio Explosion Switch is okay. Bio Kill Switch now also detonates Lurking Arm, applying a Weighted Pustule to enemy heroes side and silencing them for 2 seconds. So it's okay, but you're kind of like pigeonholing your Bio Kill Switch, and we've kind of already pigeonholed it with the rest of our abilities, where you really are only popping it to pop targeted excision, and that's just to get your cooldown and your combination happening constantly. So there's not really a point to add like another thing on top of that, which would mean if you grab Bio Explosion Switch, you would have to drop your W, your Q, your E, then hit D, then cancel W, and then try to do this combination again. And it just kind of makes it so you can't really use your silence effectively, using your silence whenever you want. So that's why we just don't really go this ability. I usually just grab Push Comes to Shove. That's Massive Shove travels 25% farther. If Massive Shove pushes a target for more than 1.5 seconds, its cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. That's about from right here to right here. So, or a little bit further. So like right here, right there. So it's a pretty far length, I should say. Kind of stumbling over my words today, but it's a little far in length. But if you do get it, then this is only a 5-second cooldown. We just kind of grab it because the other option just isn't that appealing. So guys, that's gonna be it for this guide of Stukov, the new melee support hero added to Heroes of the Storm. This has been another episode of Nexus by the Numbers, presented by StormLegacy.com. I hope you guys all go check out Storm Legacy and all of their social down there's in the description, or if you're watching it off of their YouTube page, go check them out on all their other various links that they have. Thanks again, guys, for checking it out. Hope you enjoyed the guide, and if it was helpful to you, leave a comment, leave a like, whatever, shoot me a message on Twitter. Just hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I hope this helps kind of shed some light on Stukov. He isn't that complicated to learn, but he's a little hard to get down the combination within the pressure of real games. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Once again, this has been your favorite theory crafter, Skizzors, and we will be seeing you next time.